Okay, is the camera on? I can't tell if this damn camera is ever on. Is it on? If the camera is not on, I will speak loudly so you can hear me, wherever you're at. I never know with this camera. It's buggy. Anyway, I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. And today, this is a video, probably my most requested video ever. How do you read so many books so fast? That's the question I get all the time, because people are under the mistaken assumption that I am leaving one book review per day on my channel. That's just not true. I am not leaving one book review every day on my channel. I'm only leaving about 4 or 5 book reviews per week on my channel. But we will get to that because I shoot other types of videos, folks. Let's talk about this subject: how to read faster, how to prioritize your reading, and how to read a lot of books. The title says, How to Read Faster. I have averaged reading, it is true, I have averaged reading probably 1 book a day for my entire life ever since I was 13 years old. How do I do this? How do I manage this? Well, there's a couple of things. I've mentioned this before on the channel. I read about 100 pages per hour. Now, that's if it's an easy book to read, like a thriller, like a Da Vinci Code thriller or a Louis L'Amour Western. Sometimes I slow down a little bit if I'm reading a really dense, heavy, epic fantasy novel, or something that's, like maybe a thriller like by John Le Carré. Sometimes I'll slow that down, but on average, about 100 pages per hour. So that means, I sit down for an afternoon to read a 400-page, Star Wars novel, and I can get through it in an afternoon. And sometimes if I've got extra time, I can read a couple books in a day. There have been days where I have actually taken 3 or 4 short Louis L'Amour books out to the park with me and just read all of them because they're only a couple 100 pages each. So that's how you get through a lot of different books. Another thing is, here's the thing, folks. Ever since I was a kid, I've known you have to prioritize the things that are important in your life. Reading has always been super important in my life, so I prioritize time for that every day. Granted, I don't have a wife, I don't have kids. That frees up a ton of time for me. However, I do have a full-time job at the Utah State Prison. That's a 40-hour-a-week deal, if not more when they force us to do overtime. I also write my fantasy novels on the side, another 40-hour-a-week job. That leaves me limited time to read. However, I've prioritized that time as reading time. My free time is reading time. And not only that, but I consider reading also training for my writing, because I, take notes when I read. I do a lot of things that sort of, I analyze the books I'm reading a lot, structurally, character-wise, plot-wise, pacing-wise, all of those things. You can see a lot of that information is on some of my writing advice videos, which leads me to the next point. I don't leave a book review every day. I also do a lot of other types of videos. True, 4 or 5 of my videos per week are book reviews, but I've also got other videos like my writing advice videos, my rock and roll classic rock album ranking videos, my book haul videos, my library collection videos, my top 10 list videos, my relaxation and driving. Sometimes I take my Challenger, my Dodge Challenger, out on a nice road trip, and we talk about relaxing as we finding wonderful, peaceful places around your neighborhood to just park and read. Nice parks. Oh, there's a lot of types of videos I do. So let's talk about prioritizing our reading time. That's how we learn to read faster. Rather than going to the bar at night every night with our friends, we can stay home and read. Rather than playing video games, I don't play video games. I'm not a video game guy. Rather than playing video games, I read. Rather than do most anything social, I read. After work, at the prison, so a lot of times I just come home, sit on my front porch, and read for 4 or 5 or 6 hours. Now, when you're reading 100 pages per hour, you can get through a book and a half in an evening. I mean, it's not out of, when you read fast. Here's the thing is some people naturally read faster than others. I understand if you can't read that fast, you're not going to be able to get through as many books as I do. However, if you prioritize your time, and you set aside at least a couple, 2 or 3 hours per day for reading, you can read a lot of books. You can read a ton of books. A ton of books. That's the thing. You just have to prioritize. Now, some of the reviews, like I have made a goal to review every book in my library on YouTube. You can see my library. I've got 5,000 to 6,000 books. This is just one library. I've also got a library down in my dining room. I got a lot of books. A lot of these books I am reviewing, a lot of these older ones, like a lot of the stuff I read as a kid. Shannara, Dragonlance, David Eddings, Raymond Feist, J.R.R. Tolkien, a lot of the Louis L'Amour novels I read over and over and over and over as a kid. These novels and stories, characters from these books are part of my DNA. I don't have to reread them to leave a very detailed review. So a lot of the books that I'm reviewing, I am not reading at the time. I'm just like, I read that sumbitch 10 times in high school. I know everything about that book. I could review it 100 times over. So I hope that answers the question, people. How am I dropping so many book reviews per week? How fast do I read? How do I get through? I hope that answers the question. It's not that hard. The answer wasn't some magic mystery. There is no magic formula to make you read more and faster. You just have to either naturally read fast, like I do, 100 pages per hour, or you prioritize your time to read books. That's it.